Hello, welcome to Redline Equipment, and my name is Dave. We would like to introduce you to the MyRedlineDealer customer portal. This robust online portal will connect you with the ability to access your account history, including invoices and statements, parts and service history, as well as create parts shopping lists and place parts orders seamlessly online. So we will show a few highlights on how the new MyRedlineDealer portal works. For the most complete experience, please sign up for an account. To do that, go to redlineequipment.com and click Create Account. That will produce a form which you can complete as you see here and click Submit. A Redline Equipment team member will receive your request for an account, create it, and send your username and password information to you in an email. It will contain your username and a link to get your password. After you see that, you can return to the email and click Login to go to the login page. Type your information and click Login. More information will come in subsequent videos. Hello and welcome back to Redline Equipment and MyRedlineDealer.com. In the first stop on the tour, we saw how to request an account, get a user ID and password, and get logged in. On the second stop, we'll generally get acquainted with the system. Here you see the main page. And here is the store information for the Redline location that you typically do business with. In the middle is your current accounts receivable status. If you click View, it will take you to some additional detail on that with a list of invoices. On the right-hand side is a list of the parts that you buy regularly or frequently. You can click the question mark to get a description of that part, or you can click the shopping cart icon to easily buy it again. Across the top, you see an envelope you can click to send a simple message to someone in the dealership. Select the appropriate department, type your message, click send, and it will go to the appropriate people in the store. Also across the top, you can click the shopping cart, and as you can see, it indicates we have one item in the cart. When you click it, it will show you what is in the cart, along with several actions you can take, and we'll talk about those features in a later episode. Clicking on the gear icon, you can see several things here. First of all are some links to some things on Case IH's website, such as C&H Finance. Returning to the gear and clicking about Redline Equipment will take you to our website, redlineequipment.com. Also on the gear and clicking Profile, it will show you name and address information that we have on file for you. While you cannot change this information, it does allow you to view it and check it. And if updates or changes need to be made, you can talk with people in your Redline store about making those changes. At the bottom of this screen, you can click Change Password. Click that button. You would type your old password along with the new password you want, and again to confirm it. And after you click Submit, it will change the password. It is always a good idea to change your password periodically. Back at the home screen, in the middle of the home screen is a search feature. You can use this as a shortcut to get to specific things quickly. You can search on invoices, parts, or some past part history. So I'll click Shop for Parts, and I'll type a part number. Click Search, and it shows the information for that particular part. There's more to come on the features of this page in a later episode. That is all for now, and we'll see you again soon. Welcome back, everyone. This is the third piece of the tour, where we'll show some of the menu items on the left-hand side of the screen. Expanding My Account will show these three things. The profile item is another place you can see your name and address information. You cannot change this information, but you can review it. And if it needs changed, please talk with the operations support specialist at your store to have that done. The business profile area is the main information for your farm or business. It is the official address and is where business information is sent, such as accounts receivable statements. The My Profile section at the bottom is personal information. It may or may not be the same as the official business address. For example, you may live at a different address than the official farm business, or you may have other people signed up to use MyRedlineDealer who work for the farm but also do not live at the farm's address. Their personal information would be shown for them down here, and the official farm information would still be at the top. And as a reminder at the bottom, this is also where you can change your password, which is always a good practice to do periodically. The Invoices link lets you find copies of invoices. By default, it will first show you open or unpaid invoices, and there are other things that you can filter on, such as looking for information from a specific store or a particular type of invoice, such as from parts or for service. You can also search within a date range. Notice also the outstanding status selector is picked, so it is showing unpaid invoices at the moment. Clicking the historical status selector will show invoices that have been paid, and it automatically puts a date here. So it is showing me closed invoices since October 1. If I want to find something older or look within a range, I can change the date by entering it directly or by clicking on the calendar icon and scrolling through the years, months, and days of the calendar. When I pick my date range and click search, it updates with a new list of invoices. I have 23 invoices for that date range. They're historical. I can further limit it by perhaps selecting a different location, clicking search again, and I have one invoice from Sherwood for that period of time. There are a couple of different ways to get the invoice. I can have it emailed to me, and I do that by putting a checkbox beside that invoice and clicking the email selected button. It will show me the default email address for my profile. I can leave it or change it and hit send, and it will be emailed to me. Or you can simply download a copy of it. That is what the arrow is for over on the right. Click that, and it will open the invoice in a new window within whatever program on your computer is set up to view Adobe PDF files. From there, you can print it or save an electronic version to your computer. On my computer, the two icons to do those things are located in the upper right area here. Here is my print icon, which when clicked would bring up a print dialog box, or I can click the download button, which will let me enter a name and a place on my computer to save it. The Statements link works in a similar way. It will show all accounts receivable statements. You notice there are multiple statements for the same date. This is because sometimes we need to rerun some internal programs to update some account information, and doing that creates a second accounts receivable statement for each account. Most likely, the statements for the same date will have the same information, but not always. You can view or download statements in a similar way as invoices. You can have them emailed by putting a check mark beside the ones you want and click Email Selected, or you can click the arrow on the right-hand side. It will open an Adobe PDF version of the file where you can print it or download, also like the invoices, as you see here. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you in a future episode. Hello again. This episode will show how to buy parts. There are two ways to buy parts. One is when you know the part and specific part numbers that you need. You can search for and locate those specific part numbers, add them to the cart, and check out. That will be the topic of this particular video. The next video will demonstrate how to shop if you are not sure of the parts that you need. In this situation for Case IH equipment, you can look at equipment diagrams provided by Case IH to help find the parts. At this point, diagrams for only Case IH equipment are available. So let's get started assuming we know the part that we are looking for. Expand Parts, click Shop for Parts. Notice the location. The location here by default is considered your home store. This is the Redline store you mostly do parts and service business with. It is assumed you will pick up your parts from this location. In this example, we'll also assume we know the part that we want to buy, knife sections, which is part number 87106692. I'll click the search button, and it does find a match. The system is showing Huntington has 28 of them, but throughout Redline there are 469. And I can click on 469 to see the inventory breakdown among all the Redline stores. Click on the shopping cart to purchase them. Let's say we need 60. So in the quantity, I'll type 60 and click Add. It's okay to enter 60 even though Huntington only has 28. Huntington will receive the order and get the number needed to fulfill all 60 from either the supplier or other Redline stores. From here, you can keep shopping. You can clear the part number and enter another part number to search for. As a note, you can search on a partial part number. I'll enter 871066, which is part of the knife section part number that we worked with earlier. When I search on this, it'll produce 6 results. So if you don't know the entire part number, searching on a partial might help locate that. I'll clear the part number and click on the funnel, and that will display a description field. This lets you search by a part name or a part of the description or a keyword. This may be somewhat helpful, but it is fairly limited because descriptions in the system are very short. For example, I'll search on the word filter. It produces hundreds of results, more than 500 to be exact, but it stopped after it reached the first 500. But it may be helpful in order to try and locate a part, so we wanted you to be aware of that. Let's assume we are done shopping, so to check out, click the cart in the upper right-hand corner with the quantities shown. From here we can do several things. We could empty the cart and start over. We can change our minds and look for other parts. We could continue shopping and search for other parts to add to this list. Or we could save these parts to a shopping list. This feature is handy to store lists of parts that are purchased frequently or purchased together, such as for a set of filters and fluids for routine maintenance, or for knife sections, guards, and bolts. This prevents needing to go searching for the individual parts every time. Here I've chosen to save these knife sections to a shopping list. It asks for a reference number and description, so I should enter something descriptive that will remind me what this list of parts was for when I go to use it in the future. I'll click Save. In a future episode, I'll show how to use the shopping list. But for now, we will check out. The top section of the screen is for you to provide information to help you down the road on the paperwork to remind you what this order was for. You can leave it blank, or you can use these fields however you wish. I'll just enter some sample entries. use the comment field for messages for the parts staff at the store. The middle section shows billing and shipping information. For now, parts are intended to be picked up only and not shipped, so your home store is there by default, and we recommend that you do not change that. The bottom section is where you select your payment option. The options displayed here are the same as if you are buying in the store. For example, if you do not have an internal account, the On Account button will not be displayed. If you want to pay with a Productivity Plus account, click On Account and add a comment at the top of the screen that you want to pay with the CNH Productivity Plus card. The store will see that and will handle it appropriately. I'll click on the option to pay by credit card and click Submit Order. Doing that will display a screen to enter the credit card information. Here you see the typical fields for cardholder name, billing address, card number, security code, and expiration date. You also have the option to save the card for future use. You would leave the check mark there and put a descriptive name in the display field. The system is secure enough to safely store credit card information for future use. At this point, you would submit payment and the credit card authorization, and the order would be transmitted to the store. But with any of the payment types, cash, on account, or credit card, the billing is not complete until the parts are picked up. Also, parts are not reserved until the order is submitted. Thank you for listening. The next video will show how to use the Case Online parts catalog to locate parts. Hello, this is Dave again. This video will demonstrate how to buy parts by looking for them in the Case IH Parts portal. CNH's Parts portal is integrated with MyRedlineDealer.com to allow you to look for parts from equipment diagrams and then add them to your shopping cart to be purchased. So let's get started. Click Parts, click CNH Parts Portal, and then click Case IH Agriculture. I will note here that Redline Equipment does not sell parts for all of these brands. However, at this time, we cannot control which brands do and do not show up on this page. We obviously cannot sell parts for New Holland Construction and New Holland Agriculture brands. So if you click on those, you will likely encounter an error message. So for this example, we will click Case IH Agriculture because that is a brand sold at all of the Redline Equipment stores. You arrive at the Parts Portal home screen and see that there are various ways to begin to look for parts: by part number or keyword, by model name, by serial number of the unit, or by category, as seen here in the center of the page. Probably the most effective way to search is by a serial number if possible, especially if the piece of equipment is year 2010 or newer. If it's older than that, searching by model name may be necessary. As an example, I'll select serial number and enter the serial number of a Farmall 75C. I'll hit the magnifying glass to initiate the search. It will list the diagrams available for that tractor. Let's say I want to find the engine oil filter, so I begin by expanding the service and maintenance section. I look at the sections available within that, and it looks like the maintenance parts filters might be the next available section that would be useful. I click Quick View. I look at what's in that section and it looks promising. I see lots of filters. So I'll hit the right arrow to expand it fully. There are several sections on this page. First, there are controls to manipulate the things on the page. I can zoom in, and I can zoom out. I can choose to display only the diagram, only the list of parts, or both the diagram and the list of parts. I can scroll up and scroll down by either using my mouse or the scroll bar on the right-hand side, and I can drag the diagram to the left or the right if needed. I click and hold on the diagram and drag it in one direction. I may need to do it more than once to get it where I want it. But as I look at the picture, it looks like item number 11 is the engine oil filter. So I look at item 11 in the list, and it appears to say engine oil filter, but I can't see the entire description. But if I position my mouse without clicking it on that description, a caption eventually shows up with the entire description. And the same thing exists with part number. When I hover the mouse over the part number, it eventually displays a caption with the complete part number. So let's say I want to know more about that part. I click on the part number and it opens up the details on that part. It shows replacements, substitution, alternative parts, and some other things about the part. And on this screen I can add it to the cart. It looks like that's the one I want, so I will do that. I'll click Add to Cart. The system goes to work and it says it has been added. I'll return back to the part information, but I'll look in the upper right hand corner and I now have a quantity in my cart of 1, which is the filter. To return back to the diagram, click Back to Previous. Do not click the back button in the browser because that will take you out of the parts portal. To navigate within the parts portal, use the controls available on the screen, such as this thing that says Back to Previous. I can also choose to add parts to the cart at this screen as well. So let's say I want a cab filter. I hover over this cab filter description and the part number, and it appears that that is the one that I want, part number 10. So I can select this checkbox, scroll up, click the button that says Add Selected to Cart. And now I have a quantity of 2 in my cart. So now I'm done looking for parts for the 75C, and now I want to return back to the home screen of the parts portal so I can look for parts for a different piece of equipment. I can click on the CNH-I Industrial logo at the top or at the bottom. So let's suppose I want to look for parts for a 9250 combine. I can select model name in the search area, select 9250 and hit search. The results are several different model 9250 pieces of equipment. A Steiger, some combines, a windrower. In this case, I'll select this entry, at least to do some initial research. It lists the many sections of diagrams available for the combine. Let's say I want to look for something related to the feeder house. So as I look through the sections, I come across one called product feeding, so I'll expand that. That seems to have some promise. And as I look through that, I do see some things that seem to describe things related to the feeder house. I'll just pick one as an example. This fore and aft tilt section, I'll expand that. And it gives me some detail and some part information related to things that I might need related to the fore and aft tilt of that feeder house. So that gives me a little information. I won't take any action on any of those parts for now. So now let's go check out, and I'll do so by clicking on the shopping cart. When I look at the shopping cart, I see that the engine oil filter is not available anywhere in the company. And I know this because the location availability and the total availability both say order. That means no facility within Redline equipment has that part. For the cab filter, Huntington does not have one because its availability says order, but there are 9 available throughout the company. And I can click on the drop down arrow to see where those things are. If I wanted, I could change the location to one of those that did have availability. Now for the cab filter, my location availability is 2. The company still has a total of 9 available. And I could place the order this way, and I could drive to Topeka if I chose to pick it up there after hearing back from the parts store staff. But it is more likely I would submit the order at Huntington and have them order it out of convenience for me, since that is more convenient than driving to one of the other stores. So I'll change this back to Huntington, and I'll click checkout. This is the checkout screen. The top section of the screen is for information that is meaningful to you to remind you down the road about what the order was for. You can use these fields however you wish or leave them blank, but be sure to use the comment field for the benefit of the parts store staff. The middle section contains the billing and shipping information. For now, parts ordered online are for pickup only. So your home store is there by default, and we recommend you do not change that. The bottom section is where you select your payment option. The options displayed are the same as if you are buying in the store. For example, if you do not have an internal account, the On Account button will not be displayed. If you want to pay with a Productivity Plus account, do select On Account and add a comment about wanting to pay with Productivity Plus, as I'll do here. I will next talk briefly about the last option, which is to pay by credit card. Selecting that and clicking Submit Order will display a screen to enter the credit card information. You see the name or account holder, the billing address, the credit card number, security code, the expiration date, which is typical for credit card purchases. The credit card can also be stored securely, so it can be used again without needing to be re-entered. The system is secure enough to allow that type of information to be stored for future use. So I would make sure that the checkbox on Save Card is selected, and I would type a descriptive name so I know what that card is the next time that I go to select and use it. I would submit payment, and the store and the customer would receive an email confirming the order, and the parts staff at the store will contact you to confirm pickup arrangements. With any of the types of payments, the billing will not be complete until the parts are picked up. And also, parts are not reserved until the order is submitted. Thank you for watching, and we hope this is helpful.